Look, I'm not here to sugarcoat anything for you today. These next few minutes might make you uncomfortable. They might even make you angry. But here's the thing. If you're tired of living a mediocre life, if you're sick of feeling stuck, and if you're ready to finally understand what's holding you back from true happiness, then you need to hear these 12 harsh truths. They come straight from ancient Stoic wisdom, but I'm going to break them down in a way that's going to hit home hard. Before we dive in, let me tell you something. This isn't your typical self-help video. We're going to explore truths that most people spend their entire lives running from. But successful people, truly happy people, they embrace these truths. They live by them. And today, you're going to learn how to do the same. Number 1, you're not special, and that's okay. Listen up, because this first truth is probably going to sting the most. You're not special. I'm not special. None of us are. We're all just tiny specks in an enormous universe, and that's absolutely liberating once you accept it. Think about it. How much anxiety comes from trying to prove you're extraordinary? How much stress stems from believing you need to be exceptional at everything? This mentality is crushing you, and it's time to let it go. The modern world has sold us this lie that we all need to be outstanding, unique, and somehow better than everyone else. Social media has amplified this delusion to toxic levels. But here's the beautiful paradox. Once you accept your ordinariness, you become free to do extraordinary things. The ancient Stoics understood this perfectly. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, would remind himself daily that he was just another mortal, despite ruling the most powerful empire in the world. This humility didn't make him weak, it made him stronger. When you accept this truth, you stop comparing yourself to unrealistic standards. You stop feeling like an imposter. You start focusing on what actually matters: your actions, your choices, your character. You'll begin to understand that your worth isn't in being special, it's in being authentic. It's in showing up, doing the work, and contributing in your own way, however small that might seem. This acceptance doesn't mean settling for mediocrity. Instead, it means pursuing excellence for its own sake, not for recognition or validation. It means finding joy in the process rather than obsessing over the outcome. Your uniqueness comes from being exactly who you are, not from trying to be extraordinary. The moment you embrace this, you'll feel an enormous weight lift from your shoulders. Real happiness isn't found in being special. It's found in being genuine. And that's something everyone can achieve, regardless of their talents or circumstances. The sooner you accept this truth, the sooner you can start building a life based on real values rather than ego-driven delusions. Number 2, most of your problems are self-created. Brace yourself, because this next truth is going to require some serious self-reflection. The vast majority of your problems, yes, the ones keeping you up at night, are actually created by you. Your reactions, your expectations, your assumptions, your attachments. This isn't about blame, it's about power. Because if you're creating most of your problems, it means you have the power to uncreate them. Think about that for a second. Really let it sink in. The Stoics had a brilliant concept called dichotomy of control. They understood that everything in life falls into 2 categories: things we can control and things we can't. Yet we spend countless hours stressing about things entirely outside our control. Your mind is constantly creating scenarios, making assumptions, and building expectations that don't match reality. Then, when reality doesn't align with these mental constructs, you suffer. But who created those expectations in the first place? The traffic isn't making you angry. Your expectation of a smooth commute is. The rude comment isn't ruining your day. Your attachment to what others think is. The deadline isn't causing your stress. Your procrastination and poor planning are. Once you start recognizing these self-created problems, you can begin the process of dismantling them. It's like discovering you've been carrying a heavy backpack full of rocks. You can choose to empty it at any time. This realization is incredibly empowering because it puts you back in the driver's seat of your life. You're no longer a victim of circumstances. You're a creator of your experience. The key is developing awareness. Start paying attention to your reactions, your thought patterns, and your assumptions. Notice how often your suffering comes from resistance to what is, rather than from what actually is. When you catch yourself creating problems, pause. Ask yourself, is this really a problem or am I making it one? What would happen if I simply accepted this situation as it is? Number 3, comfort is the enemy of growth. Let's talk about something that's killing your potential right now, your comfort zone. That cozy, safe space you've created, it's actually a prison, and it's time to break out. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you're choosing slow death over life. Harsh, maybe, but it's the truth that nobody wants to tell you because they're too busy being comfortable themselves. The human brain is wired to seek comfort and avoid pain. It's a survival mechanism that served us well when we were dodging predators in the wild. But in today's world, this same mechanism is keeping you stuck, mediocre, and ultimately unfulfilled. Growth happens at the edge of your comfort zone, in that uncomfortable space where you're not quite sure if you'll succeed. The Stoics understood this perfectly. Seneca practiced voluntary discomfort regularly, not because he enjoyed suffering, but because he knew it made him stronger. Every skill you have now was once uncomfortable. Remember learning to walk, to read, to drive? Each of these required pushing through discomfort. Yet somewhere along the way, you started avoiding discomfort instead of embracing it. The most successful and fulfilled people in history didn't achieve greatness by staying comfortable. They constantly pushed their boundaries, faced their fears, and embraced the uncertainty that comes with growth. Your comfort zone is like a muscle. The more you stretch it, the more it grows. The more it grows, the more opportunities become available to you. But if you never stretch it, it begins to shrink. Start small if you need to, but start. Take cold showers. Speak up in meetings. Learn a new skill. Have that difficult conversation. Every small step outside your comfort zone builds momentum for bigger changes. Remember this: life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Everything you want, success, growth, fulfillment, lies on the other side of comfort. The choice is yours. Stay comfortable and stagnant, or embrace discomfort and grow. There is no middle ground. Number 4, time is your most precious resource and you're wasting it. Wake up. While you're scrolling through social media, binge-watching shows, and procrastinating on your goals, your most valuable resource is slipping away: time. And unlike money, skills, or relationships, you can never get it back. The average person will spend 13 years of their life watching TV and 5 years on social media. Let that sink in. That's 18 years of your life that you'll never get back. What could you achieve with that time instead? Seneca said it best: it's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. This truth hasn't changed in 2,000 years. If anything, we've gotten even better at wasting time with all our modern distractions. Every minute you spend is an investment, but most people invest their time like they're billionaires when in reality, they're going bankrupt every day. You wouldn't throw away money, so why are you throwing away time? The harsh reality is that you don't know how much time you have left. Nobody does. Yet we live as if we'll live forever, postponing our dreams, our growth, and our happiness to some imaginary future that might never come. Start treating time like the finite resource it is. That means saying no to things that don't serve your purpose. It means being intentional about how you spend each day. It means understanding that every yes to something unimportant is a no to something vital. Look at your calendar right now. What percentage of your time is spent on activities that truly matter, that move you closer to your goals, that make you better? Be honest with yourself. The good news is that you can start reclaiming your time right now. Cut out or limit activities that don't serve you. Create systems that maximize your productivity. Prioritize what truly matters. Remember, time is the great equalizer. We all get the same 24 hours each day. What separates the extraordinary from the ordinary is how they use these hours. Your time is running out. Starting today, spend it wisely. Number 5, your emotions are not facts. Let's get real about something that's probably controlling your life right now: your emotions. You've been treating them like they're the absolute truth, haven't you? Well, here's the wake-up call. Your emotions are not facts. They're just weather patterns passing through your mind. You feel like a failure? That's not a fact. You feel like everyone's judging you? That's not a fact. You feel like you'll never succeed? Again, not a fact. Your emotions are powerful, but they're often liars, and they're definitely not your masters. The Stoics understood something profound about emotions. They're responses to our judgments about reality, not reality itself. Epictetus said it perfectly. It's not things that upset us, but our judgments about things. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or pretending they don't exist. It means developing the ability to observe them without being controlled by them. It's about creating space between what you feel and how you act. Think about how many decisions you've made based purely on emotional reactions. How many opportunities have you missed because of fear? How many relationships have you damaged because of anger? How many projects have you abandoned because of temporary frustration? Your emotions are like a dramatic friend who always blows everything out of proportion. Sometimes you need to pat them on the head and say, "I hear you, but we're not doing that right now." This is emotional intelligence in action. The real power comes when you can separate facts from feelings. When someone criticizes you, the fact might be, they gave negative feedback. The feeling might be, I'm worthless. See the difference? One is reality, the other is your emotional interpretation. Start practicing emotional awareness. When strong emotions arise, pause and ask, what are the actual facts of this situation? What is my emotional mind adding to these facts? This simple practice can transform your life. Learn to ride your emotions like waves. Let them come, let them go, but don't let them determine your direction. Your emotional state is temporary, but your decisions can have permanent consequences. Remember, you are not your emotions. You are the awareness that observes them. This understanding is the key to emotional freedom. Number 6, nobody is coming to save you. This might be the hardest truth to swallow, but it's time to face it. Nobody is coming to save you. No one is going to show up with the perfect opportunity, the perfect solution, or the perfect life. You are your own rescue team. We've been conditioned by movies, books, and fairy tales to wait for a hero, a mentor, or a lucky break. But life isn't a Hollywood movie. The cavalry isn't coming. Your prince or princess isn't on their way. Your big break isn't just around the corner. This truth is actually incredibly empowering once you embrace it. Because when you stop waiting to be rescued, you start taking action. When you stop looking for saviors, you become your own hero. The most successful people in the world understood this truth early on. They didn't wait for permission, perfect conditions, or divine intervention. They took responsibility for their own lives and started taking action, even when it was scary, even when they weren't ready. Every moment you spend waiting for someone else to fix your life is a moment wasted. Every time you blame others for your situation, you give away your power to change it. Every excuse you make is a brick in the wall between you and your dreams. The Stoics emphasized personal responsibility above all else. Marcus Aurelius didn't write about waiting for things to get better. He wrote about making things better through his own actions and choices. This means taking full responsibility for your life, your health, your relationships, your career, your happiness. No more blaming your parents, your boss, the economy, or the system. They might influence your circumstances, but they don't determine your response. Start asking yourself, if nobody was coming to help me, what would I do differently? What actions would I take? What changes would I make? Then do those things. Today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. The moment you truly accept that you are the only one who can save you is the moment your life begins to change. It's scary, but it's also liberating. Because once you stop waiting for rescue, you start creating solutions. You are the hero of your story. Start acting like it. Number 7, your potential means nothing without action. Let's talk about that potential you've been sitting on. You know what I mean? all those things you could do, should do, want to do. Well, here's the truth. Potential without action is worthless. It's like having a winning lottery ticket and never cashing it in. Everyone has potential. Everyone has ideas. Everyone has dreams. But potential doesn't pay the bills. Ideas don't build businesses. Dreams don't create reality. Only action does, and consistent action at that. The world is full of talented people who never achieve anything significant because they're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect circumstance. Meanwhile, average people are out there taking action and changing their lives. The Stoics had a word for this, logos. It meant not just knowledge or potential, but knowledge expressed in action. They understood that wisdom without action is just philosophy, and potential without implementation is just daydreaming. Your potential is like a muscle. If you don't use it, it atrophies. Every day you spend not taking action is a day your potential diminishes. It's a harsh truth, but it's reality. The gap between where you are and where you could be is bridged by one thing, action. Not planning, not strategizing, not dreaming. Pure, consistent, committed action. Start measuring yourself by your actions, not your intentions. Stop talking about what you're going to do and start doing it. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards results. The most painful thing in life isn't failure. It's looking back and knowing you could have done more, been more, achieved more. But you chose comfort and safety instead of action and growth. Your potential is a responsibility, not a gift. You owe it to yourself and the world to act on it. Every day you don't is a day wasted, a contribution not made, a life not fully lived. The time for action is now. Not when you feel ready, not when circumstances are perfect, not when you have it all figured out. Now. Number 8. Happiness is a choice, not a circumstance. This truth is going to challenge everything you believe about happiness. Ready? Happiness is not something that happens to you. It's something you choose. Every single day, every single moment. You've been sold a lie your entire life. That happiness comes from external things, money, success, relationships, achievements. But look around. How many miserable, successful people do you see? How many unhappy rich people? How many accomplished individuals who still can't find peace? The Stoics understood something profound about happiness. It comes from your interpretation of reality, not reality itself. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This means you don't need to change your circumstances to be happy. You need to change your perspective, your job, your relationship status, your bank account. None of these determine your happiness unless you let them. Think about it. Have you ever been happy in difficult circumstances? Have you ever been miserable when everything was going well? This proves that happiness is not tied to external conditions, but to internal choices. The choice to be happy doesn't mean being positive all the time or denying reality. It means choosing to find meaning and purpose regardless of circumstances. It means choosing to focus on what you can control rather than what you can't. This is why gratitude is so powerful. It's a choice to focus on what you have rather than what you lack. It's a decision to find joy in the present moment rather than postponing happiness to some future achievement. Your happiness is your responsibility. Not your partner's, not your boss's, not society's, yours. The moment you truly accept this is the moment you become unstoppable. Start making conscious choices about your happiness. When something negative happens, ask yourself, how can I choose to respond in a way that serves my well-being? Remember, happiness is not the absence of problems. It's the ability to thrive despite them. Number 9. You're going to die, and that should motivate you. Let's talk about the ultimate truth that nobody wants to discuss, your mortality. Not to be morbid, but you're going to die. Maybe tomorrow, maybe in 50 years, but it's happening. And this shouldn't depress you. It should light a fire under you like nothing else. Most people live in denial of death, and as a result, they live in denial of life. They postpone their dreams, suppress their authentic selves, and live as if they have unlimited time. This is the greatest self-deception of all. The Stoics used a practice called memento mori. Remember, you must die. Not to be negative, but to create urgency and meaning in life. When you truly accept your mortality, every moment becomes precious. Every choice becomes significant. Think about it. If you knew you only had 1 year left, would you still be living the way you are now? Would you still be putting off your dreams? Would you still be wasting time on things that don't matter? Your mortality is the ultimate deadline, and it's non-negotiable. It's not meant to scare you, it's meant to motivate you. It's meant to remind you that your time is finite and precious, so you better make it count. This understanding should inform every decision you make. Is this how you want to spend your limited time? Is this relationship worth your precious life energy? Is this job worthy of your finite hours? The acceptance of death brings clarity to life. It strips away the trivial and reveals what truly matters. It makes you braver, more authentic, and more committed to living fully. Start living with the end in mind, not in a morbid way, but in a way that creates purpose and urgency. Ask yourself, if this was my last year, month, or day, would I be proud of how I'm living it? Your mortality is your greatest gift. It makes life precious, love meaningful, and time valuable. Don't waste it living someone else's life or pursuing things that don't truly matter to you. Remember, death is not the greatest loss in life. The greatest loss is what dies inside us while we live. Number 10. Your current beliefs are limiting you. Time for some serious mental renovation. Those beliefs you hold so dear, many of them are prison cells disguised as protection. They're limiting you, holding you back, and keeping you small. And the worst part is, you're the one who built them. These beliefs didn't come from nowhere. They're a collection of past experiences, other people's opinions, cultural conditioning, and outdated survival mechanisms. But here's the thing. Just because a belief helped you survive in the past doesn't mean it serves you now. The Stoics emphasized questioning everything, especially our own assumptions. Marcus Aurelius constantly challenged his own beliefs, asking himself if they were really true or just comfortable habits of thought. Think about some of your core beliefs. I'm not good enough. Money is hard to earn. Success requires sacrifice. I'm too old, young, busy. Are these actually true, or are they just stories you've accepted without question? Your beliefs create your reality because they determine your actions. If you believe something's impossible, you won't even try. If you believe you're not worthy, you'll self-sabotage. If you believe success is hard, you'll make it hard. The good news is that beliefs are not facts, they're choices, and you can choose different ones. But first, you need to identify and challenge your current beliefs. This requires brutal honesty with yourself. Start questioning everything you believe about yourself, success, money, relationships, and life in general. Ask yourself, where did this belief come from? Is it serving me? What evidence do I have that it's actually true? The most dangerous beliefs are the ones you're not even aware of, the unconscious assumptions that guide your decisions without you realizing it. These are the beliefs you need to dig up and examine in the light of day. Remember that changing beliefs isn't about positive thinking. It's about accurate thinking. It's about replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones that are actually true and serve your growth. Your mind is like a computer. Your beliefs are the programming. Time to update your software. Number 11. Discipline trumps motivation. Let's destroy one of the biggest myths in personal development, the idea that you need to feel motivated to take action. Here's the truth. Discipline, not motivation, is what gets things done. Motivation is emotional, and emotions are unreliable. They come and go like the weather. If you wait to feel motivated, you'll never build anything substantial. The most successful people in the world don't rely on motivation. They rely on discipline. The Stoics understood this perfectly. They didn't write about feeling inspired or waiting for the right mood. They wrote about showing up, doing the work, and maintaining their principles regardless of how they felt. Discipline is about doing what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. It's about building systems and habits that keep you moving forward, even when motivation is nowhere to be found. Think about it. Do you only brush your teeth when you feel motivated? Do you only go to work when you're inspired? No, you do these things because they're part of your routine, your discipline. The key is to stop relying on motivation and start building discipline. This means creating routines, establishing habits, and sticking to them regardless of your emotional state. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Every time you do something you should do, even when you don't feel like it, you're strengthening your discipline muscle. Start small, but be consistent. Choose one important activity and do it every day, no matter what. Don't negotiate with yourself. Don't wait for motivation. Just do it, period. Remember, motivation is like a hot shower. It feels good but doesn't last long. Discipline is like the plumbing. It's not exciting, but it's what makes the shower possible in the first place. Your future is built on the foundation of your daily habits, not your occasional bursts of motivation. Number 12. Everything you want requires sacrifice. Here's the final truth, and it's a doozy. Everything you want requires sacrifice. Not just effort, not just work, but genuine sacrifice. Something has to go for something new to come in. Want to get in shape? You'll have to sacrifice comfort, time, and maybe those late-night snacks. Want to build a business? You'll have to sacrifice security, leisure time, and possibly relationships. Want to master a skill? You'll have to sacrifice other interests and activities. The Stoics had a concept called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils or difficulties. They understood that anything worthwhile comes with a price, and it's better to acknowledge and accept that price up front. Most people focus on what they want, but ignore what they'll have to give up to get it. They want the rewards without the sacrifice, the results without the process, the destination without the journey. But life doesn't work that way. Everything has a price. The question isn't whether you'll have to pay it. The question is whether you're willing to pay it. This isn't about being negative. It's about being realistic. When you understand and accept the sacrifices required for your goals, you can make conscious choices about what you're willing to give up. The good news is that once you accept this truth, decision-making becomes clearer. Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Make those choices consciously. Start asking yourself, what am I willing to sacrifice for what I want? What am I willing to give up? What comfort zone am I willing to leave? Be honest with your answers. Remember, the price of something isn't just the money. It's the time, energy, relationships, and opportunities you'll have to sacrifice to get it. Choose your sacrifices wisely, because you're making them whether you realize it or not. These 12 truths might be harsh, but they're liberating once you accept them. They strip away the illusions that keep you stuck and reveal the path to genuine happiness and fulfillment. The question now is, what are you going to do with them? Because knowing these truths isn't enough. You have to live them. Remember, everything we discussed today isn't about making you feel bad. It's about empowering you to take control of your life. These truths are tools, and like any tools, their value lies in how you use them. Take action now. Choose one truth that resonated with you the most and start implementing it today. Your future self will thank you. If you found value in this video, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that cuts through the noise and delivers real, actionable wisdom. Share this with someone who needs to hear these truths. Remember, sometimes the kindest thing we can do is share a harsh truth that can change someone's life. What harsh truth resonated with you the most? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, stay strong, stay stoic, and keep growing.